Alright guys, what is going on? So right now we're going to take a look at the iPhone XS Max and compare it to the iPhone 6 Plus. And I'll be completely honest, if the iPhone 6 Plus does anything at all faster than the iPhone XS Max, I'll be thoroughly surprised and I will go and sell my house and sell all my phones and I'll just cry to bed, because there's no reason that the iPhone 6 Plus should be faster in any way than the iPhone XS Max. And I'm going to say, guys, right now, if you have an unlimited amount of money to spend, if you have thousands of millions of dollars in the bank, or your dad's buying your phone or something, get the iPhone XS Max. It's a very good phone, and I think it's a very good upgrade from the iPhone 6 Plus, okay? I own every single iPhone pretty much, and I can tell you right now that the iPhone 6 Plus isn't really worth it anymore. I mean, it's the same thing as the iPhone 6. I mean, the performance is very mediocre. Really, the main underlying factor of the iPhone 6 Plus and its demise was pretty much not only the body, but also the 1 GB of RAM. And that really limited it from what it could do. But I'll go ahead and do some speed tests. I'll show you guys around and go from there. But obviously, starting off, the screen sizes are completely different. And I do have autofocus on, so sometimes it does take a second for it to focus on. But we have a 6.5 inch Super AMOLED screen on the iPhone XS Max, and we only have a 1080p screen clocked at 5.5 inches on the iPhone 6 Plus. And from a bird's eye view, you probably can't tell a difference, especially through the screen. But once I zoom in, you can kind of get a better idea. I mean, it's obviously, I'm telling you guys right now, the iPhone XS Max's screen is much better. I do find it to be not as sharp as the XS Max, that's my personal opinion, but it's still a very good panel and a much better panel than the iPhone 6 Plus. As you can see all the pixels on the 6 Plus, but you have a harder time seeing them on the XS Max, but you can still see them when you zoom in, but it's still very, very good. And taking a look around the body, we pretty much have the same type of layout, charging thing on the bottom. We have a headphone jack on the 6 Plus. Everyone already knows that though. On the back, we do have glass, whereas on the 6 Plus, we only have the aluminum build. And I still think it's pretty good. I don't necessarily think it's like a horrible body, the iPhone 6 Plus, but the XS Max feels a lot more premium. And you also have wireless charging on the iPhone XS Max, where you don't have it on the 6 Plus. But really, other than that, that's pretty much the difference. Apparently, they feel pretty much the same size, I would say. But I do think that the XS Max feels just a little bit more slimmer around the sides, and maybe it's the placebo effect or something, because there's very no bezel around the body, but that's just kind of my opinion. I kind of said the same thing with the 8 Plus too. It just feels like it's a little bit more easier to hold on the sides versus the 6 Plus, where it seems like it's a little bit thicker around the sides, but it's probably just placebo. Now this next part is very, very important, so I had to zoom in a little bit. The iPhone 6 Plus is pretty much at the EOL, which is end of life. It's not going to get any more updates after this. I'm telling you guys right now. People think it's going to get iOS 13. It's definitely not. It's going to stop at iOS 12, which is not a bad thing at all. But really, you're only getting one more software update on this phone. Whereas on the other hand, with the XS Max, it's literally just getting started. So we're getting at least 5 more years of, software and all that stuff. So this phone is just getting started. Whereas on the iPhone 6 Plus, it's, getting a lot more updates. Whereas on the iPhone 6 Plus, it's just ending right now, which isn't a horrible thing. It's expected because it was an older phone, but that is something to kind of keep in mind. Now, in terms of performance, it's kind of funny. We have the A8 chip, a dual-core processor on the iPhone 6 Plus, and 1 GB of RAM, a whole 1 GB of RAM, versus on the iPhone XS Max, we have the Apple A12 Bionic chip, a hexa-core processor, and 4 GB of RAM. And I'll tell you guys right now, the performance is unmatched. And I'll just show you guys right now. Let's just do a speed test. All right, this is the best I can do, and I don't know why. Every time I film it on my camera, the speed test, they look fine, but then when I go on my computer, they look uneven and all that stuff, so it's probably going to look uneven again. But let's just run through it, guys. All the apps are going to be clear in the background. Let me go ahead and do that. They're already clear on the iPhone XS Max, and I just want to load up some simple apps that you guys probably all have, like Camera, the App Store, those things. And I downloaded a few other apps that you guys might own, Temple Run, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and just to make sure we're all updated on the newest firmware, of the apps. As you can see, we're updated to the newest one, whatever. And we're both on iOS 12 on both these phones, so keep that in mind. So let's go ahead and open up the camera, 3, 2, 1. Okay, XS Max beat that. Let's do calendar, 3, 2, 1. The iPhone XS Max beat it again. Let's do mail, 3, 2, 1. XS Max beats it again. And I do think I clicked that a little bit sooner, but still it's just let's do clock, 3, 2, 1. Again, XS Max beats it. Let's do maps, 3, 2, 1. And 6 Plus is taking its time. All right. Well, that's not a horrible thing, but, whatever. 3, 2, 1. Bro, my English is horrible. And apps like that, they're really weird because I hate those dialog boxes that keep coming up. I wish they just freaking ended those. Let's do notes, 3, 2, 1. Man, this one just takes its time. Look at that. This thing just opens it like it's in the background already. Reminder, 3, 2, 1. Yeah, faster. It's still loading. Wow, I shouldn't even exit out of that. News 321. This is gonna take a minute on the 6 Plus, I think. There we go. Okay, and it's still loading technically, and it's still not in. Once it says continue, okay, then it's good. And it's still technically loading, but even then, even if we just went to where it said continue on the bottom, it's still so much slower than the iPhone 6 Plus, than the iPhone XS Max, sorry. Let's do stocks, 3, 2, 1. Even if we just went by the fact when it said welcome to stocks, it's still so much slower than the iPhone XS Max. It's insane. Let's do TV, 3, 2, 1. And this one is still so much slower. And I think it's more so than just the chip, dude. I think it's the 1 gigabyte of RAM versus the 4 gigabytes of RAM on the iPhone XS Max. Let's do the iTunes Store, 3, 2, 1. And this one is still just so slow. There we go, now finally. Let's do the App Store, 3, 2, 1. Well, technically those are already open, but whatever. Let's do iBooks, 3, 2, 1. This one's already in. This one is still going, still going. Come on, you got it. All right, there we go, finally. I mean, dude, it's just like, it's literally impressive by how much we've gone up in speed over the last couple years. I mean, these phones are 4 years apart, I believe. And we're like, it's just insane how it's going. I don't want to, okay, let's open phone 3, 2, 1. Man, it's just insane. Let's do messages, 3, 2, 1. Man, it's just like, even the smaller things like that. Let's do music, 3, 2, 1. Okay, I'm going to say this one is faster. This one did have a dialog box, but this one got into the music app faster as well. Now let's kind of boot it up a notch. I would open all these other apps, but they're going to be faster on the iPhone XS Max. Let's go ahead and do something like, I don't know why there's no Snapchat on here. So while these two apps are loading, like I'm telling you guys right now, the main difference we have here, I mean, you can say everything you want about the Apple A12 chip or whatever. It's very fast. It's very performance heavy. But I think the 4 gigabytes of RAM, like I said earlier, are the biggest factor in terms of the speed. Also the hex-core processor, obviously. Let's go ahead and load up. Let's see. So let's go do Snapchat since we just downloaded them both. 3, 2, 1. So obviously, as you saw, it got into here faster. Then we're able to get into the login screen. Pretty impressive. Okay. Let's do Instagram. 3, 2, 1. It did hiccup here a little bit, but as you can see, it's already into the app. And then we finally get onto it on the iPhone 6 Plus. Let's go ahead and do Facebook. 3, 2, 1. Already in. And then we're in. It's just crazy. And I'm telling you guys right now, if you held the iPhone 6 Plus just by itself, you probably wouldn't think it was as slow as it is when you compare it to something like this, which is super crazy. Let's go ahead and do Temple Run 3. I don't even have Temple Run on here. Dude, I'm taking so many L's right now. All right, let's do Temple Run. Now, technically, I just downloaded them on both, so I haven't opened them on either. I just downloaded this one more sooner. Let's do it. 3, 2, 1. And if this one beats it, then I will sell my house and everything like I told you earlier. As you can see, it is beating the iPhone 6 Plus by a landslide. I was going to say a lawn slide, but then I'm not British, you know. As you can see, I mean, even this one it's stuttering, bro. This phone is stuttering on Temple Run. How is that even possible? It is the most basic game in the world. I cannot believe this one just stuttered on Temple Run. But, I mean, you guys can see that in and of yourself. I mean, that's pretty insane. There's a humongous difference here in terms of speed. Let's do Real Racing 3. 3, 2, 1. And even when I click a game on here, it just seems like it takes a second for it even to register to open the app. Versus on here, it just opens it. Now, this is already done, okay? This is already finished. Let's see. Once this gets into the first panel of it playing a game, then that means it's done. But once before that, then it's not. Like, it's still not loading. So I guess I'm just going to keep clicking here until it's done. But you can see this one's already done. This one's already ready to play. And this one is still taking its good old time. All right, so after a year, we finally got into it. Performance is crazy different on here. I cannot believe how insane the difference is here. I was not expecting it to be this crazy, by the way. I thought it was going to be like noticeably different, but not like this. Let's go ahead and load up the benchmark score that I have on both. And I like how I opened this one after and it still opened up before this one. And as you can see, this is freaking insane. We have 332,853 as the benchmark score on the iPhone XS Max, where we only have 74,026 on the iPhone 6 Plus. And that kind of sums up this upgrade in a way. If you have an iPhone 6 Plus, going to the iPhone XS Max is such a worthwhile upgrade. And it's crazy how amazing this phone is, okay? But my main gripe with this phone is just the price. I just don't like the price of this phone. I just think it's not competitive. I just think it's super expensive for what it is. And I think I just don't want to spend, $1,500 or even $1,100 or $1,200 for a phone like that. I'm not saying it's a horrible phone. As you guys saw, this phone is very, very capable, and it's a humongous upgrade from the iPhone 6 Plus. But if you want a bigger phone, I mean, go for it. But if you don't really care about the size, you can always go for something like an iPhone 10. This is the 10s, but you can go for an iPhone 10. It's the same exact size. I would really recommend that. And, in terms of everything else, there's really no point even talking about it, because this is just such a humongous upgrade that you should just pick it up if you want to. But like I said, if you don't care about the size too much, you can always go with an iPhone 10. That's still a pretty impressive upgrade in and of itself. But like I said, if you do care about the size, go get an iPhone XS Max, be my guest, and you'll enjoy it. But that is pretty much it. There's some things that I'm missing, but really, I would do a more thorough comparison if this was more of a competition, but it really isn't. We have an 8 megapixel camera on here. We have a 12 megapixel, two 12 megapixel cameras on here. IP68 dust and water resistance, wireless charging. We don't have that here. Really, the only advantage of this phone is that it has a fingerprint sensor and a home button, but even those things are you can get used to them without it. But that is pretty much it, guys. If you have any questions or anything like that, leave it down in the comment section below. Hit that like button, but definitely hit that subscribe button. Every single subscriber we get really does count, so it'll mean so much if you guys could hit that. Also, check out the other links down in the description as well. My Twitter, my Instagram, all those stuff is down there. I would really appreciate if you guys could check it out. But more importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys, and hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out, everyone.